to GFLFWTF. Welcome back. So this time we are going to do lemon meringue pies. I'm going to do little individual pies, but the same recipe can be used for a larger pie. Just some of the baking time changes. Let us know if you're interested in that, and I'll post up some tips about making the individual pie on our Facebook page. So we're going to do a short crust pastry on the bottom, and then we're going to do the filling topped with meringue. So we'll take you through each of the steps and then putting it all together. So we're going to start with the short crust pastry, the sweet short crust pastry. So in here we've got 2 cups of gluten-free plain flour, and then we've got 3 tablespoons of caster sugar, and this is 150 grams of chopped and chilled butter, so this needs to be chilled. So pop it all in. So mix all this together until a dough starts to form. At this stage you should have fine breadcrumbs that are clumping together with the butter, only very finely. And then what we're going to do is add some ice water in, and then that will bind the mixture. It's usually about 2 to 3, but I keep going until it turns into a full dough. I usually stop when a ball starts to form, so all of it's not going to be combined, but there's going to be enough of it. That's fine if there's flour and stuff left, just bang it all back in. As we mix it and get the dough ready, we can combine it in then. So what you want to do is just get your dough out. It should be nice and evenly formed. I've got a fair bit left in the bottom, so I'll just get that out. So then I'm just going to pull this together, give it a nice light knead, just to combine it all and to help with the consistency. It doesn't need to be heavily worked, just into a nice ball. Wrap that in cling wrap, and then put that in the fridge for half an hour. So we're just going to make the filling to go in the lemon meringue pies while our pastry's cooling down in the fridge. So what you want is a cup of water and 3 tablespoons of corn flour. Mix them into a bowl together until you can no longer feel the corn flour sticking on the bottom, so it's all kind of mixed in and dissolved. So once your corn flour is mixed in a saucepan on medium heat, we're going to add half a cup of lemon juice. That equates to about 3 lemons when you squeeze it yourself, or feel free to use the pre-made lemon juice, the one that comes in that yellow squidgy bottle. So the lemon.
While we're talking about allergic things,
yes,
the squeezy bottles have sulfur in them.
Ah, well there you go. So if you've got a sulfur intolerance, well, an allergy, the squeezy bottle's no good, so maybe stick with the fresh limes. So 3 fresh limes squeezed. Lemons. Did I say limes?
Yeah,
oh,
that's right.
Lemons. Yeah, squeeze them up. It's about 3, that'll make half a cup, and then you need half a cup of caster sugar. And the mixture, the corn flour mixture that you've already prepared, pop that in too. So you need to keep stirring this and bring it to the boil until it comes to the boil. And then you're going to boil it for 5 minutes until it thickens, and then that starts the base of your innards. I always say innards, filling. So keep mixing because otherwise it will stick to the bottom and then you'll start to get lumps in it. So for just this part, just keep it stirring. So you know it's starting to come along when it starts to get a bit clearer. So it's lost that white look and it's starting to look clear. So we've got this boiling, so we'll keep it boiling for about 5 minutes. Oh. So when it's clear and it's, well, reasonably thick. Add in 60 grams of butter and 2 egg yolks, just the yolks. Mix this in. You'll be really careful with what egg yolks you use. If there's any white in here at all, it'll cook. So you'll have white pieces of cooked egg white through your mixture. I think we're doing okay here. I think I can see one, but maybe if you use an egg separator or something, it's more accurate. Alright, so I've got this lovely yellow combined mixture, so sit that aside to cool. Okay, so we're going to do the base. So after your dough's been out, it'll be a bit cold and a little bit more formed. Probably to get the best result, just pop down a little bit of gluten-free flour on the bottom to roll it out on, and a little bit on your rolling pin. Just roll this out. I like my pastry for pies really thin. I like it thin and crispy, but this batter, well, this mixture will do probably a couple if you're going to do very thin and crispy, or it'll do one full pie at a sort of a reasonable thickness. To the thickness that you want. It doesn't have to be perfect because you can keep rolling it out after you've done each one. But for the individual, just a non-stick individual little pie pan. And if you put it down, so put down upside down, just trace around it. Actually, this pastry is still a bit too thick, but and then you can pick it up, and then what you want to do before you put your pastry in is just give your pan just a little spray of oil. That'll stop it from sticking, and then just lay it in, and then just mould it. Alright, so you've got a pre-prepared casing ready to go. So repeat 3 times. We're going to prepare the bases. So now that they're all in, as we did before, we're going to blind bake them. So for the non-baker, that is just a bit of pre-baking with weights in it so that it doesn't puff before you then get it golden. So get some just baking paper, cut them up and stick it into the in against the pastry. I've got baking weights, but you can use rice. Rice is actually quite almost better than baking weights because it gives like a nice even weight into and goes into the crevices. So anyway, you want to put some baking weights into each of them just to keep the baking paper down. So your oven wants to be preheated to about 180 degrees. We're just going to pop these in the oven. I put them on a tray only to keep them all together so you don't have to handle them individually. But we're going to put them in for probably about 8 minutes to start. It's anywhere between 5 and 10. You'll see that the edges start to go like a little bit, not even really brown, but they just start to change colour a little bit. At that stage you can take them out because we're going to put them back in and finish the baking of the bacon. So in the time that we've been preparing the bases, our filling in it the lemon curd has started to cool down, just give it a stir, and you can see that it's starting to form a nice kind of creamy consistency, although it's not creamy, which is really good for your lactard. So give it a nice stir so it's a nice smooth consistency, and then continue to let it cool, and then we'll give it another stir before we put it into the insides. Yeah, so I added a couple of extra minutes, and you can see that the pastry has just started to change colour and it's quite stiff. So at this stage we're going to take the baking weights out. And then we're going to put these back in for 10 minutes. Well, at least until they're golden. So if that happens before the 10 minutes, just keep an eye on them and pull them out. But now we're really cooking the base properly. So this is nice and cool now. It's kind of really thick. So what we're going to do is we've got our prepared bases. So these were in the oven for probably a little bit too long because I forgot to put the timer on. So maybe that's about 12 minutes. So they're probably a bit browner than I normally would do. So I'd probably stick to the 10, unless you're like me and absolutely forgot to put the timer on. So we're going to fill, come back. So we're going to fill the bases up with the mixture that we've got. And then these will go in the fridge, and they need to sort of an hour would be best, but if you're in a hurry, just as long as the base is cool and the insides are cool, you'll be right to go. So just make sure they're nice and flat, because you're going to stick meringue on top of those. And then, pop them in the fridge. So an hour's best, but at least until the base and the innards are cool. While our base and innards are off cooling down, we're going to make the meringue on top. So we've got 3 egg whites. We're just going to whip these till they're nice and firm and with some peaks, and then we're going to add 3/4 of a cup of sugar in gradually. So you'll see me doing that. I've actually done a little bit less. You could probably even take it down to half if you don't like your meringue too sweet. No, I wouldn't go less than that, but if you don't like it too sweet, you can drop it a little bit. So we're going to get whipping. So once that's all in, should be nice and glossy and firm. So then once our bases and innards are ready, we'll pop some of this on top. So we've put these in and they're pretty set. You can tell when they're set because they get tacky on the top. Okay. So what we're going to do now is put the meringue on top, and then we're going to brown the meringue, and then that's the dessert finished. But I'll show you how I do it without having a blowtorch. So we'll just spoon some meringue on top of each of them, and then we'll get to browning them. If you've got the next part, if you've got a blowtorch, then that's effectively what you use to brown off the meringue. But if, like me, you don't have one, then that's where your grill comes in handy. Just got to be really careful about the grill. You want it really, you want the grill really hot, because if this heats up again, so if the actual mixture and the base heats up too much again, then the or actually to that point, if you haven't mixed your sugar in to your meringue properly, then it's going to sweat, and then it'll come out as like a clear ooze that comes out of it, which may happen to me, I don't know. It shouldn't. So I put the grill on to 200. They don't go in for very long under the grill. Right. Okay. So they're not looking, you know, stunning, but hells up, I would eat them in and out of the oven. Alright, so get your, don't mind my skanky old tray. So we're going to want to get the grill very hot. So like I said, I've put it on 200. I'm going to wait till it gets very hot, and then I'm just going to pop them in to brown very quickly. Alright, so I'm going to put them in. It shouldn't take long. You'll actually see them turn very quickly. And hopefully I've got it hot enough so they don't sweat. I really need to get myself one of those blowtorch things. Up, no. No, honey, too hot, too hot. Alright, Mummy needs to get these out. So these have been just grilled, so they've done really well. They haven't sweat at all, so get it really hot. Even go higher than 200. The only problem is you've got to watch them, because they'll look fine 1 second, and then the next they'll turn, and it'll happen really quickly. And if you don't catch it quick enough, because there's so much sugar in there, it'll just burn. So when you're doing it this way, just keep an eye on them. So we're going to let these cool down just a little bit after having been in there, and then we'll slice one open and see what it looks like.